Recently, I found myself down to just 3 mice in my main group, which is obviously not ideal, especially when 2 of them are 2 years old and not in the best health. So I have been panicking slightly, trying to find new mice to adopt, which is quite ironic given the fact that just a couple of months ago, I rescued 2 pregnant mice that had babies, and I had so many mice in my house, and they have all been adopted out to really good homes. But if I had had a crystal ball and seen that not only would I lose most of my older mice that were 2 years old recently, but also 2 of my younger mice as well in the group, I probably would have kept back more mice from those litters than just the males I intended to keep that have ended up not being able to be neutered. It's left me with not many options. So yeah, obviously if I could have predicted the future that I would have gone from 7 mice in my group all the way to 3 mice in just a couple of months, I probably would have kept back more females from that rescue that I did, but they're now all in really good homes, and I'm now scrambling, trying to find more mice to adopt very, very quickly because I'm so consciously aware that I have got 2 very old females and they could go at any moment. So I have found some very, very cute mice up for adoption in Woodgreen, and I'm going to go and pick them up as soon as possible and get them in with my girls. Hiya, I've got an appointment at 1:30 to adopt my mice. I'm a bit early.
You are? Whereabouts do you park, sorry?
Just outside the charity shop. So I decided on their new names pretty quickly. Sometimes I have names saved up for years in advance, and sometimes it takes me absolutely ages to name them. So the 2 girls are called Thistle and Laurel, and the neutered boy is called Bracken. In the rescue, the 2 girls were called Chocolate and Vanilla, and he was called Ghostface. So definitely wanted to change their names. The only thing is, you might be able to hear they are very sneezy at the moment. I noticed this pretty much when I picked them up and I had them in the car for a while. I'm hoping it's just the stress of going into a new environment, but if it doesn't clear up, I'm going to have to sort them out, get them on some antibiotics. But Bracken is the one that sounds the worst at the moment. He's very, very sneezy. So this one is Laurel. And I named her that because there is a type of laurel that is called a spotted laurel. And in her pictures on the website, she looks so spotted. She looks a little bit less spotted in person, but she is such an interesting looking mouse. I've never seen one or had one quite her variety before. She's almost like a chocolate colour with an agouti on top. So yeah, I'd say she is the shyest of the three. She is a little bit cage aggressive or cage fearful. When you stick your hand in, she can get quite defensive over the space and nip. So that does not bother me. I'm just going to be mindful of that. She has caught me a couple of times when I've gone in to put food in and things. So yeah, otherwise she is a really sweet girl once you've got her on your hand. As you can see, she's pretty chill. And then this agouti one is Thistle. I forgot to mention both girls are around 7 months old and they came from the same home into the rescue together. And then this is Bracken. He is a lot smaller than the two girls. They are more show type mice with exaggerated features, bigger bodies, bigger ears, and he is just a tiny guy, but he is so friendly. Whoever was his foster home has done such a good job with him. He will hop right up onto your hand, so very excited to have a very friendly mouse again. He is just the sweetest boy. Just really sneezy right now, huh? And he is around 9 months old. I believe he's been at Woodgreen since November, October of 2024. So he's been with them for a while. He does also have a shorter tail because in his medical records, it fell off at some point. It died and the tip fell off. So yeah, he does have a shorter, stubby tail than the rest of the mice. So these are my new mice, and they had so many mice and rats and other small pets at Woodgreen waiting to be adopted. I think when I was there, they'd just taken in 17 mice that aren't on the website already. So please reach out to them if you are considering adopting and you're local or you can get to them. They have got a lot needing homes right now, and I will definitely be back because they were really thorough. They wanted to see all of my spare cages, not just the one they're going to live in, but all of the ones I was going to use during introductions. They asked me so many questions. They went over everything with me. They have given me such a detailed report of all of their history so far, behavioural reports, health reports. I can see everything all the way back to last year. So yeah, I do have a pretty good idea of their history, which is quite rare when it comes to rescue mice. The girls especially, I think, have had respiratory infections before, so that's good to know. As I was leaving, I also picked up one of their care guides for mice because I was curious what kind of information would be in this compared to some of the terrible care guides that we have looked at before. So just gonna have a quick look. I think they also did email this over to me, but it is way more fun to read from this than to read you from an email. Okay, I'm just going to skim read this very quickly because this is not the purpose of the video, but it highlights mice are highly social and should be housed as trios or groups as they would naturally live this way in the wild. Yes, this is good because so many care guides will just say that mice are social but should live as pairs or more, and realistically trios is always going to be better. And then for the accommodation section, it has got loads of pictures of example setups and the ideal cage size for 3 or 4 mice, 80 by 50 by 35 centimeters high. So this is good, unlike so many care guides and resources out there. This is going by the UK standard that most ethical rescues are going to follow. This is the information that I give out. The 80 by 50 centimeters is the minimum floor space for a couple of mice, and then obviously more floor space is needed. The ideal cage size for up to 6 mice, 100 by 50 centimeters floor space. And then it's recommending different types of enrichment, dig boxes, cardboard boxes, ropes, ladders, hammocks. Then it's going through a bunch of bedding suggestions, cardboard, hemp, aspen. There is no mention of kiln-dried shavings like what I use, and I did have to have a conversation about that, but I think they're just not mentioning those just to play it safe if the general public are looking to adopt mice, because they might just think they can go and get like really bad pets at home shavings, which obviously aren't safe, so just avoiding them. Then it's talking about how to clean them, and then mouse companionship, suitable combinations, 3 or more does, 3 or more neutered bucks, and a neutered buck or bucks with does. I'm glad they've put that because sometimes some resources will tell you that you can't keep neutered males together, and from my experience that has been perfectly fine. Once the males have been neutered, they can live as a group or live in a group with females, and I've never found them to have many issues. Then it's going over how to introduce your mice to each other, which is so important, and so many resources like books or care guides just fail to mention this part of owning a social animal. So they are recommending the neutral space method or the carry method. Then there's a whole section on feeding your mice, talking about feeding them a well-balanced mix and making your own, following the Shunammite diet. They've even gone ahead and given you the actual recipe they use with their mice at Woodgreen, following the Shunammite diet, which is great. Then the sections on handling mice, free-roaming mice, transporting mice, finding a vet for mice. They have pretty much covered everything, how to health check your mice. I don't think there's really anything else in here. They've got a page on common illnesses in mice. I feel like this is a very, very thorough care guide. I don't think they've really missed anything really that I would say they need to put into this. This is like the perfect example of a care guide that honestly every pet store should be aiming to do better. I am so tempted to print these out and just go and place these strategically in pet stores like Pets at Home, so people actually take better care of their mice and rats and other small pets, because this is the info we need out there, not some of the care guides. So misleading. But yeah, those are my new mice, and it does feel quite sudden sometimes, especially when your other mice have just passed away. Getting new mice can sometimes feel like you're cheating on the other mice instead, but you have to do it sometimes if the other mice that you've got left over need the companionship. And these guys have been in the rescue for quite a while, it sounds like, so I'm really happy to offer them a new home. I'm not sure how much I filmed of their introductions, but they have now met my other 3 females and they're getting along perfectly fine. They're just at the stage where they're ready to go into the main cage, which is always the best feeling. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. But thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to check out Woodgreen and their mice and rats and other pets they've got for adoption. And I'll see you in my next video. Bye!